and this ain't financial advice.
So the cryptocurrency market has majorly pulled back from a numbers perspective, but on another perspective, the cryptocurrency market has majorly made some advancements. Cardano volume is way up. We're still the number one on GitHub as far as commits, and you're seeing things like Bitcoin saying that they're going to potentially adopt smart contracts. That is yet to be seen, and that will come with its own bag of, problems. And I think it's a good thing, though, that is bullish for cryptos in general. I think we're sitting here such in early times of crypto because of the way that you're going to see crypto get integrated into our mainstream systems, that you can't say there's one winner or one loser. I think it's just really, really foolish to do so. I think ultimately long run, we're going to see multiple winners and probably a lot more losers. But I think certain currencies and certain blockchains are going to find their place, and they're going to find their niche. Cardano might have its own niche, Ethereum might have its own niche. Yes, of course, some of them are going to be bigger and larger than others, but largely at this time to declare one person the winner, other than Hosky coin, I think is foolish. Hosky to the moon. Do not buy Hosky, by the way. I was not promoting Hosky in the video last night. That was just something I found a little bit of humor in. I don't think you should buy Hosky. I did buy a little bit of Hosky, maybe 2 ADA worth, and I'm a 100 millionaire basically in Hosky tokens. But please do not buy Hosky. So speaking of Hosky, there's some very interesting statistics I want to discuss with you here. Things like Hosky and people who look at things like Dogecoin, Shiba, anything related to a dog or Elon Musk, D-Loge, new crypto going to the moon. It's a lottery, okay? And if you're relying on a lottery to get you rich, to get you wealthy, you are doing it wrong, okay? Because look at the statistical probability of winning the lottery. All you have to do is flip the ticket over. Now, if you think you're going to be that one lucky little sperm that makes it through, good luck, okay? Because the large majority of the sperms, they die. Yes, they do. So, on the way down the fallopian tube. So, I think fundamentally speaking, our relationship to money has a lot to do with our success. Now, of course, there's many different factors and variables that come into, sorry, I'm making a left-hand turn. I always use a blinker, and you got to make sure it clicks 3 times before you take the left. That's just good driving etiquette. Don't be one of these people who turns into the left lane and then puts the blinker on afterwards like it's some sort of afterthought. Bad, rude driving. So, folks, your relationship to money, I think, largely determines where or how your success will be with money in the future. Now, it's not the ultimate thing, because obviously there are certain people who are born into more advantageous circumstances than other people. There are people who are just, there's a luck factor in all of this, right? But I think you're putting yourself ahead of the game by creating a good, healthy relationship to money. And I think if you look at certain countries where gambling and lotteries are higher, I think the relationship to money there is a little bit distorted, at least from a large-scale perception basis. Because I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say here. Let me get some coffee in me. Hey, folks, real quick, if you have not voted for Nerd, it's real simple. 1, stake with Nerd. 2, all you do is you send a transaction from and to your own wallet for 2.381. So it's like sending yourself an email. You just send an internal transaction for 2.381, and you have voted for Nerd in the Sunday swap vote. Thank you for staking with Nerd, and thank you for voting with Nerd. I'm out. Basically, just because you're not born into money, just because you didn't win the genetic lottery, it doesn't mean you can't form a great understanding of money. And don't ever let anybody who has more money than you, okay, trick you into believing that they may know more about money than you do. Because the reality of it is that there's many people born into money or who come into a load of money who have very little understanding of money, okay? And sometimes they use that money as leverage to make you think that they know something about money that you don't. Now, many times people with a lot of money do know something that you don't about money, but it's not always the case. I mean, how many times have we seen a basketball player, a football player, an inheritor, somebody who's come into a large chunk of money who's never had money before, blow through that money like Moses through the Red Sea. like a hot knife through butter. And it ultimately displays their lack of knowledge for money, because in my personal opinion, this is my opinion, if you have 5 million, 10 million bucks, and you're in the civilized world, okay, at least the world that I know, the world that I'm familiar with, you should be able to hold on to that money, okay, by hedging what you're invested in, by spreading it out, by diversifying, by not trying to YOLO it into, the next 100x thing, or the next parabolic move in a winner take all, or I lose everything I own scenario. And by safely hedging, grow that money over a period of time and using compound interest, okay? And using some of that interest and perhaps some of the dividends to invest in other smaller uptakes. And maybe some of those things are higher risk ventures, but you're not putting 5 million into that higher risk venture, okay? You might put 50,000 into it. You might put 150,000 into it. You might put something small in comparison to what you own into something more risky in order to grow that larger nut. And you might put the large majority of that into things like real estate, into things like stocks, safer stocks, bonds. I had an interesting conversation with my mother the other day regarding stocks and bonds and how to safely, diversify your portfolio. And I was talking about, hey, if we were to go into a recession, what always survives during a recession? And I was saying, liquor stores, and she was saying groceries and health, as far as things like, CVS. Now, CVS is a slow and steady stock. They pay a dividend, but it's something worth considering because people still need their medication, whether the market is up or the market is down. People still drink alcohol, whether the market is up or the market is down, okay? So that's one way to hedge against a market downturn. Because those stocks, yeah, they can correct just like everything else, but they're going to have a long-term viability. I was saying, let's start a repo company. Let's get a bunch of tow trucks and take people's Lexuses out of their driveway. So there are businesses that will thrive even in a down market. And to project your own personal journey towards that, not financial advice, and to say, hey, inevitably all up markets go down. It's just the way it is. It's the way it's always going to be, and it'll never not be that way. That's the beauty and nature of the world that we live in, because we're all individuals and we all make our own individual choices, which then they're in effect markets. Okay, if we're all the same, the market would all do the same thing and we'd have nothing to worry about, but that's just not the case here. So let's focus on the case in point. So by hedging your investment strategies and your portfolios in a safe, succinct way. A lot of people, the younger you are, you might be more apt to take more risk, okay? Because you have more time on your side. Now, if you're in your late 60s, you might want to shorten that risk. You might want to mitigate that risk, because at that point, you wouldn't want to lose your house, home, and your Lexus on an ultra risky play, because you have 20 years left, in which case you're going to need that money to potentially live off of, to maintain your lifestyle that you're used to take care of yourself and maybe take care of some other people too. Okay, when you're 20, it's like a can of tuna fish and a blow-up mattress. Like, you don't have to take care of anyone but yourself, and you still got time on your side. So that's why you got to be super careful. If somebody who's 65, 75 going into retirement is watching 22-year-olds on YouTube pumping Dogecoin to the moon, Hosky Bros to the moon, you might want to be careful where you're getting your information, because from because those people are in fundamentally different scenarios, okay? The 22-year-old has a whole different bunch of assets, time on his side that the 65, 75-year-old does not, okay? So when the 22-year-old puts 90% of his net worth into Doge, okay? Well, if it goes up, great. If it goes down, what did he lose? $900. But if the 75-year-old puts 900 grand into Doge and it goes down 90%, and he's down to now 90 grand, and he needs that 90 grand to live for the next 20 years, oh, damn, he's going to be sleeping on the couch, and that's not going to make for a very fun retirement situation. Not financial advice. Please always consult with a professional financial advisor. Anyway, folks, just wanted to give you my 2 thoughts, or 3 or 4 or 5, on your relationship with money, on the cryptocurrency market in general, where we're headed, where we're going, and where we've been. Folks, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you tuning in. And if I don't see you, I will see you on the internet. I'm out.
Steak with North